Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I am your host, Doug, here with your video blog for November 17th, 2014. We have some Major League Baseball transactions that are happening right now. We're going to get to those briefly. We'll also have your New York sports update for you, a look at the new college football rankings. We will go around the Shield in a busy day here on the blog. But first I want to get to the final race of the NASCAR season. Kevin Harvick winning the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series title. And it was a dramatic performance by him. He gets it done with a win, wins the race, wins the championship. That is his first championship. And I think the big question that people ask now that the dust has settled the day after, did the point system work? And ultimately, I think it did, but I think there's room for improvement as well. I think it definitely rewarded the guy that was the fastest, which Kevin Harvick was all year. He didn't necessarily win a lot, but he still won the championship, and that's all it takes. If I made any changes, I would make it only guys that won races got into the chase, and then just depending on how you had the field, if you had 12 guys win a race, 12 guys run, and then you'd cut the field maybe down to 10, then down to 6, and then down to 4, or you could go 10, 8, 4. I mean, you could cut it down many ways. You could just make those cuts in the standings different depending on how many guys get in, kind of like a PGA Tour cut, where it just depends on how many guys are in the event, how many you cut. Okay, so I think that'd be an interesting way to look at it. And then if you had more than 16 guys in, then you could do it by if you had 17 guys win, the top 16 would get in. You'd have that capped at 16. 16 guys get in, but only if 16 guys win. That's the maximum number you put in. You can have it more. You can have it at 16 or less, just depending on who wins. Just so we're rewarding winning more, and not just rewarding consistent running all year. Okay. I still think you'd have to keep points because you'd have to have these guys in the top 30 in points at least. You wouldn't want somebody who road course rings and wins one race to get into the chase. So that'd be something you'd have to keep in. You'd have to be in the top 30 in points and also win a race to get into the chase. And I might even make it the top 25 in points just to avoid some more mass confusion. Next year, looking ahead though, my two drivers to watch, I'm going to give you a young guy and an older guy. My older guy to watch has to be Clint Bowyer. I think Michael Waltrip Racing will get over a bad year that they had. They're going to be better next year. Bowyer showed some speed, and we'll be watching Clint Bowyer next year. And the young guy has to be Kyle Larson. He showed a lot of speed in the chase. Runs well on the 1.5-mile tracks, is starting to run better on the short tracks, runs really good at Bristol. So those are my two guys to watch next year, Kyle Larson and Clint Bowyer. We'll do some more NASCAR if we hear about transactions as well with that. My football picks of the week, not good once again, had a rough week. I went 2-3 on the week, so that now puts me overall at 23-25. I think the Monday night game tonight, I think the Steelers need to get this win to try to get back to the top spot in the AFC North. Big win for the Bengals yesterday. It is time to go, though, around the Shield. Andy Dalton throws for three touchdown passes. Hill runs for 152. Bengals beat the Saints 27-10. Bears, Jay Cutler struggles, but they snapped a losing streak. Bridgewater was not good. Bears beat the Vikings 21-13. Texans all over the Browns. Ryan Mallett in his first career start gets it done. Alfred Blue runs for 156. Texans and J.J. Watt shine as they beat the Browns 23-7. Jamal Charles has 159 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Chiefs edge the Seahawks 24-20. Falcons at the Panthers. The Falcons now lead the NFC South at 4-6. They take down the Panthers 19-17. Buccaneers drum the Redskins on a Mike Evans 209-yard day. Buccaneers beat the Redskins 27-7. Rams force Peyton Manning to throw a couple of picks. Sean Hill shines. Trey Mason a big game as the Rams knock around the Browns to earn a victory. Rams 22, Broncos 7. Eli Manning throws 5 picks but still has a shot to win the game late. 49ers beat the Giants though 16-10. Chargers avoid another loss. They sneak by the winless Raiders 13-6. Eagles versus the Packers. Aaron Rodgers showing that he should be the MVP in the league. Packers put up 50 and rout the Eagles 53-20. Drew Stanton gets another win, throws for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lions fall 14-6. The Cardinals are now 9-1. Patriots and their new running back Jonas Gray. Gray runs the ball 38 times, 199 yards, 4 touchdowns. Colts fall to the Patriots 42-20. Let's just take a look at the playoff standings quickly here. And in the NFC, it's a wild run for the playoffs. Let's take a look at it here. Currently, right now, Arizona, Detroit, Philly, and Atlanta have the division winners. And then we have Green Bay and Dallas at the wild cards, with San Francisco and Seattle both a game back for the second wild card spot. And in the AFC, it is just crazy. New England and Denver on top. Indy and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's the 3 right now. Indy's the 4. Kansas City at number 5. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams tied at 6 and 5, and Houston and Buffalo at 5 and 5. So we have a 5-team race for one playoff spot. Currently, Miami in at 6 and 4 in the 6th spot, with San Diego, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland all tied with them. Pittsburgh, with a win tonight, would take over that final playoff spot. All right, let's get to college football. Let's do our college football rankings. Big story of the weekend was definitely Mississippi State losing to Alabama. I now have Alabama at number 1 in my rankings at 9-1. They take on Western Carolina, and then they will take on Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Auburn, though, not a very good team now that they lost to Georgia. Oregon's my number 2 team at 9-1. They take on Colorado and Oregon State, and then likely a Pac-12 title game, which now would be against USC. Number 3, Mississippi State at 9-1. I'm not going to drop them that much because of the loss. It was a tough road loss, but I think Alabama has now shown that they're the best team. They will take on Vandy at home and then go at Ole Miss to finish off their season. And finally, number 4, Florida State. Very unimpressive win. Jameis Winston and those guys just keep turning the ball over. They take on Boston College and then Florida, and then an ACC title game matchup with either Georgia Tech or Duke. And the 2 teams on the outside looking in, and this one team could get in very shortly. That's Ohio State at number 5, and TCU right now is my number 6 team. And we'll have more college football rankings as we'll react to the rankings on Wednesday, and we'll also do our Heisman Watch update as well. All right, before we get to the New York sports update, we have a lot of breaking news from Major League Baseball to discuss. The first matter of business, and I'm going to talk about this contract more on Wednesday, with Giancarlo Stanton signs a 13-year, $325 million deal to become the right fielder for the Miami Marlins. The guy signs a 13-year, $325 million deal. I could not believe when I read that today. I knew they wanted to pay him a lot of money, but they just absolutely broke the bank on this guy. Last year he batted .288, 37 home runs, 105 RBIs. He's 25 years old, so that puts him at the end of this contract at age 38, okay? So he'll be 38 when this contract's over. 13 years, $325 million. That is absolutely insane. It includes an opt-out window after 5 years, so we'll see what happens with that. Another big deal today that was made was Russell Martin signs a 5-year, $80 million deal with the Toronto Blue Jays to be their catcher. And finally, the big trade of the day, Jason Heyward on his way to the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Braves will get in return Shelby Miller and Tyrell Jackson. The reliever Jordan Walden will also go over with Jason Heyward to the Cardinals. New York sports update. Knicks snap a 7-game losing streak yesterday, 109-93 win over Denver. And this easy 6-game stretch, they are currently 1-2. They will be at Milwaukee on Tuesday night. Syracuse Orange are 2-0 as they win over Kennesaw State and Hampton this weekend. Rakeem Christmas, the big story. He is currently averaging 18 points and 12 rebounds. They will be down in Madison Square Garden to play Cal on Thursday night, and then if they win, they'll play the winner of Texas and Iowa on Saturday. So Wednesday we'll be back with our Heisman Watch update. We'll also talk NFL power rankings, and we'll do some Major League Baseball headlines as well. Thanks for tuning into the Blog and Grill. Check me out on sportsmindednews.com. Also follow me on Twitter at YankeeBaller415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back on Wednesday. Have a good start to your week.